I was trying to figure out what angle I was going to come at about talking about this whole situation that's going on over in China with the black people that are over there, whether they may be and then she sent me a video. Now I would play the video, but because my mic is hooked up to my laptop, you wouldn't be able to hear the audio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the link to the video and I'm going to pin it down below and you can actually hear it. It's only 18 seconds. So it's not a long video at all. But look at this screenshot right here. This is a notice that was put up by people over in Guozhou. I'm guessing that's how you pronounce the city in China, at a McDonald's that's over there. Now, before any of you say it, I have not been inside of a McDeath or a drive-through at a McDeath in over 6 years. So if you trying to tell me to not go to McDonald's, you're preaching to the choir, because I have not been there since 2014. Since January of 2014. That was the last time I went to a McDonald's. The absolute last time. And trust me, the temptation to go at that time was there because that's when they implemented their all-day breakfast. And I think that's one of the only things that McDonald's really has going for them, in my honest opinion. But I said, if I want to make an egg McMuffin, I can just go to the store and get a little egg ring and some English muffins and call it a day. But anyway, the sign reads, "Notice, we've been informed from now on, black people are not allowed to enter the restaurant. For the sake of your health, consciously notify the local police for medical isolation. Please understand the inconvenience caused." They are letting you know to not let a black person, no matter from what walk of life they may be. It does not matter if they are from the States, if they're from the continent, if they're from the Caribbean, the islands. Shoot, maybe if they're even half Chinese, half black, you're not coming up in there. Because what has happened is that dog whistle has been put out there from here in the States that black people are now more likely to get this illness that has now gone overseas to China, where the disease started, of all places. And now they have enforced so much that now the black people over there are being heavily discriminated against, and news outlets are not covering it at all. The only way you can actually see the interaction is on the internet. If it wasn't for social media, we wouldn't be knowing about this. We wouldn't be able to talk about this. And this is only the tip of the iceberg, but they're letting you know this is a notice that they typed up from their government, and it's laminated too. And they have it everywhere. And I bet you it's not just at the McDonald's. I bet you it's at other businesses as well. Do not let black people in here. It almost looks like Jim Crow, but the Chinese edition of it. It's like, how in the world does a virus that started over there get translated to black people being the ones that's spreading it when it came from them? Because if you didn't know, China, Wuhan, just lifted their 76-day lockdown. Now they're saying that, they're trying to take precautions for any new cases. What they're saying is they're claiming that any new case that comes over there has to have come from a black person. Mainly because, like I said, when they put out there that black people here, American-born blacks, were in Chicago, Detroit, were these high percentage of those who were most likely to get it. Then it translated all the way over to China. We're talking all the way across the pond and a few continents away, that they are the ones that are the new carrier. Then now you got to backtrack. This is exactly why I said it was very reckless for black people to put out there that black people could not get this disease or this virus, or we were immune to it, or most likely not to get it. Because now look at what this is now snowballed into. Now, like I said, more than ever, they're going to really try to make us the face, not only here in the States, but globally. I said this in another video. I would not be surprised that if 5 years from now, I gave it 10, I said 5 now, that they will say that black people were the cause of this disease. I will not be surprised. And people keep thinking that only palm colored people can be racist. No, far from the truth. Oh, we're just getting started. I'm not going to stop talking about it. Like I said, this was my way of ushering in this particular discussion. Now let's get into what we already have seen. The kicking out of black people from their homes. We're talking about their homes where they're paying rent and mortgages, not a place they're just held up in, but they are actually paying customers. They're getting kicked out of their homes. They can't stay at hotels. I've seen pictures where they are laid out on the sidewalk, like literally on the curb. It looks like a tent city. It looks like Skid Row, but the Chinese edition. They're all laid out there. If they have to go get medical attention, like say a woman is pregnant and she's, let's just say it was an Asian woman, for instance, and she's with a black man. He can't go up with her. Only she can go in and get the medical attention. He can't even go with who he's with. She has to go by herself because they're only allowing her in. It's either she goes by herself or she doesn't go in at all, just by association. I've seen videos where they have been arresting black people over there. It's ridiculous how they literally turned and flipped the switch and made it and turned it on to us. Then you got, the Chinese, the people over there on the continent are getting wind of what's happening to their people over in China, and they are doing something about it, because to let this slide would be absolutely it would be ridiculous to let this just skate on by. Then you had one of the I saw this article today. You have one of these Chinese officials saying that there's no discrimination going on to foreigners. Let me just also point out, whenever they're talking about foreigners, they're talking about black people. They really aren't talking about anybody. They could be talking about other people. For the most part, they're talking about black people. See, the thing is, they'll start off slowly with everybody, but then their main target, once the dust settles, is really going to be always about black people. But he had the nerve to come out and say that they're not facing any discrimination, but we're seeing all these videos. So are you trying to tell us that them being taken out of their homes, kicked out of their homes, seeing signs like this in establishments saying that black people just aren't welcome to come there because they are out of fear they're going to spread this disease? You're saying that's not discrimination? Now, mind you, a couple weeks ago, these were the same group of people that said that they were experiencing xenophobia because 45 called it the Chinese virus and all types of stuff like that. Now they're doing this. They're doing above and beyond, way worse than whatever 45 could have called this disease. And it is the Chinese virus because that's where it came from. But see, the thing is, the Chinese for years have never really been having their feet held to the fire. They never really had to be called to the carpet for any of their indiscretions because they were able to always bury their stuff. They tried to bury this. They didn't want this to get out. Why do you think that doctor ended up dead? They talking about he just disappeared. No, they killed him to keep this from getting out there. Because see, they have to try to keep this image up of them that they are these worthy people. After all, it's like when they got that title of model minority, they let it go to their head. And then that was the ushering in for them to then start discriminating against black people. But we already saw how they got down when, how they deal with black people in hair stores and nail shops and Chinese establishments and all types of stuff. But they'll set up shop there to get our money. This should be a massive wake up call to every black person in the diaspora. Like, I hope you're seeing this. Is out there for the world to see. It's on the grand stage as we see it. Now, I wonder to Karuchi and China Mac and all those people who wanted to come to the defense of the Asian community, well, more so the Chinese community. What do y'all have to say about this? Because I ain't heard a mumbling people from either one of them, but they had all this stuff to say that we should not discriminate against them, not call them names and all types of stuff, not treat them basically how we're getting treated. But look at what they're doing over in China. They got real quiet. They got real mute when that happened. And they're going to stay quiet because their handlers only told them to speak out against us. Don't you dare say anything against the Chinese. But like I said before, this virus has exposed many. We see the true colors of many groups right now as it stands. And it's at this point that now the whole world is finally getting to see once and for all how the Chinese get down when it comes to us. Because it was always very low key. That is exactly why I say do not use that people of color narrative around me. It makes me want to vomit. I do not want to be lumped up or lumped in with a group of people that can do that, who can release a virus like this into the world and then shift the blame onto a group of people that had nothing to do with it. But like I said, mainstream media also played a part in it when they kept saying in Chicago and Detroit, it's this high number of black people that can get it and everything like that. You don't think the people over in China didn't hear that? That was their way. That was their method in order to discriminate against black people. They probably have been wanting to do it forever, but they didn't have no way of doing it. So now they have found a legal way to do it. I bet you it's legal now for them to do what they're doing over there. But it doesn't surprise me either, because guess what? Over in China, how they're treating the black people over there is exactly how they treat their own people. So you got to ask yourself, why would they treat a black person any different than they would treat their own? I heard they treat them ruthless over there. Because China is a very communist society. Very communist society. So they have free reign to do whatever it is they are doing right now to black people, and nothing will happen to them. But like I said, let this be a wake-up call to us. Now, granted, some of this is going to be falling onto the continent's fault, because they were so open to allowing them to come in and do what they're doing. Now, I heard one country, I'm not sure which one it is. I want to say it's Senegal. I'm not sure if it was Senegal or another country, where they are actually fighting back against the Chinese establishment that is over there, that's trying to really take over, try to do whatever it is that they're doing right now. That needs to circulate and create a domino effect to everyone else. We have no friends. We have no allies. We can say that until we are blue in the face, and it will still be true. Like I said, we are seeing it play out in real time right now. And it's a shame that it took a virus to bring that out, when this is something that as a collective we should have saw a long time ago. But like I said, this thing has exposed a lot of people. It has exposed true colors. Like, we have seen the true greed of America rear its ugly head. I mean, we already knew it was greedy before, but we really see it now. And now we see how the Chinese get down when it comes to us. Because some people either didn't see it before, or they saw it but didn't want to believe it. They were being naive. They didn't allow them. They only wanted to see what they wanted to see. See, a lot of our people got so enamored that, with Chinese being a brand new superpower and everything like that, that they didn't see what the Chinese were doing to their people. They're seeing it now, and if they don't see it, then they're just willingly blind. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you follow me on Twitter if you haven't done so already. Have your notifications turned on, and I'll talk to you in the next one.